welcome to another episode of Dark Dialogue Shop Chat Sessions. So,
I wish people could see you.
I don't know what I do. I can't see me.
It's amazing. I love it.
So, the title of tonight's episode is Flat Earth, Flying Dildos, and Frozen Statue.
Oh, no. I quit.
There's that. So, before we get into this week's weird shit, strange shit, and certified dipshit behavior.
Oh, certified even.
Quick favor. If you're listening and thinking, wow, these people clearly need supervision, the best way to provide that supervision is to hit follow or subscribe, or whatever button your platform uses to legally bind you to us. Leave a rating, preferably 5 stars. If you leave a 1 star, at least make it funny so that we can read it on the air and publicly shame you with love.
Yes.
Share the show with a friend, especially the one friend
Shame each other.
Or you're saying each other, yeah. Share the show with a friend, especially that one friend that sends you conspiracy TikToks at 2 a.m. because this is their natural habitat.
This is.
And if you really want to support the chaos, reviews actually do matter. Algorithms are a lot like cryptids. They're mysterious, they're easily angered, and they demand offerings.
And unfortunately, I do need a lot of supervision, and it's becoming a big job for John.
This is true. This is true. All right, so now that we've appeased the internet gods, let's get into the nonsense.
Have we appeased them?
Well, I don't know. We've attempted to appease them. We've asked for appeasement.
We've requested appeasement. Jeez.
Yes. So, you ready for the nonsense?
Yes.
All right, well, let's start with our...
the nonsense. What are you talking about?
We'll start with our strange headline segment. Best man left bleeding after being hit in head by flying dildo.
Oh, no.
Yes, that is a direct quote from the headline, in case you were wondering.
And you come right out the gate with this one.
It's a strange headline segment. It's the first one every time. What the hell are you talking about? An Australian steak party.
This could fall under weird shit. You don't know.
I could, but it doesn't.
Okay.
So an Australian steak party took a chaotic turn when an exotic dancer's signature party trick, launching dildos across the room, resulted in the best man taking a direct hit to the forehead, leaving him bleeding and unintentionally becoming the most injured soldier in the Battle of Brisbane.
Probably has a really cool bruise, too.
On December 28th, a steak party was underway in a Brisbane apartment for groom-to-be Peter Rowley. Spirits were high, alcohol was flowing, dignity had already packed the bags and left early. Entertainment for the evening included an exotic dancer whose trademark routine involved launching dildos across the room in a maneuver reportedly similar in concept to certain well-known adult performance tricks. According to the coverage from the Register, she was achieving distances of roughly 7 meters, or I think that's like around 21 feet, with a peak arc of about 2 meters, deliberately aiming them at guests as part of the spectacle.
Oh, my.
Essentially, this was not an accident. This was artillery. Several guests reportedly took hits to the chest or knees without incident. However, 31-year-old Darwin architect, and Darwin is actually the town. It's not like the Darwin Awards.
Right.
Yeah, I was confused about that part, but 31-year-old Darwin architect and best man Jur Schumach.
Are you okay?
I'm a mess. 31-year-old.
Okay, so John needs supervision too.
31-year-old Darwin architect and best man Jur Schumach, SKUMAVC, Skumavk, something like that, was less fortunate. He took a direct impact to the forehead. First, he didn't think much of it. Then he touched his head and realized he was bleeding. He later described the projectile as approximately 22 centimeters long, adding, and this is important journalism, that he did not have, quote, massive experience with dildos, end quote, which became the quote that launched 1,000 reposts. The Northern Territory News, known for its aggressively unhinged front pages, framed the story in full slapstick mode.
I have to make sure you know this information.
While other outlets leaned into the physics of what we can now confidently call a ballistic novelty device. No arrests, no lawsuits, just one best man who will never again be able to say his bachelor party story was boring. My take? First of all, if you're booking entertainment and there is even a remote possibility of airborne objects, helmets should be discussed. Second, I need someone to do the math. 7 meters, 2 Peter meat height. First of all, it's an Australian story, so meters and centimeters and all that, but that's not a party trick. That's an Olympic qualifying event. Also, imagine explaining this at the ER. Sir, what happened? Well, technically, I was struck by celebratory adult entertainment during a premarital bonding ritual.
So there I was.
You know that the nurse went home and said, "You will not believe what I charted today."
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And finally, this man survived a weaponized bachelorette souvenir and still had to give a speech at the wedding.
Oh.
Now that is resilience.
Yes.
So at what distance does a dildo officially become a projectile? Is there a governing body for this?
I'm not on it. I don't. I feel like there's an 800 number we need to call.
I mean, I don't want to get like too crude. I got like
disclaimer.
This isn't something I have a lot of experience with myself, but I always thought they were kind of like soft and floppy. Like I didn't expect blood, and I mean, there's a freaking picture. This guy is tore up, man. I'm telling you what, he looks like he got in a fight with Hercules. Like, he's in his hospital bed and everything. So if you're the groom, do you apologize or do you just frame the newspaper clipping?
Both. I'd say it was a little bit of an apology, but I mean, he had to know what he was getting into if she's known for this trick.
Well, and the other part of this I gotta say is like, if I'm getting married, it's gonna be to a woman that's gonna find this as funny as I find it, and this thing is framed above our mantle. I'm telling you straight up.
I agree.
This is like, I'm having this conversation with everybody that comes over for freaking Thanksgiving dinner. It's like, look at this.
Look what happened.
Did I tell you what happened at the bachelor party?
Yes.
So is this technically the most aggressive use of wedding party equipment in recorded history?
I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, who shoots dildos like at all, first of all? And then who shoots dildos in like an apartment? This is like, you know, like those t-shirt guns that shoot out at like a stadium or something. Like, we're talking about an apartment here. Like, if it's like,
John, that was a visual I didn't need.
Like, if this thing could freaking injure this man the way that it did, like, it can take windows out and shit. Like,
yes.
I got nothing on this one. Shall we move on to the conspiracy corner?
Yeah, before you make me explain anything that I don't want to explain.
Fair enough. Tonight in Conspiracy Corner, we finally address the conspiracy I have irresponsibly avoided because I genuinely hoped that it would fade away on its own.
Oh my.
Flat Earth. Yes, in the world of our Wi-Fi signal 2026, there are still real adults who believe the planet is a giant cosmic dinner plate surrounded by an Antarctic ice wall and protected by a sky dome. And that NASA, pilots, physicists, GPS engineers, and apparently Delta Airlines are all in on the lie. Let me start by saying I avoided this one because it feels too stupid to dignify. But shadow chats means we go where the nonsense lives. So Modern flat earthers claim the Earth is not a sphere but a flat disk. The North Pole sits in the center Antarctica isn't a continent. It's a circular ice wall around the edge of the map, keeping the oceans from spilling into space
really?
like a tipped kiddie pool. Gravity? Well, that's fake. According to many flat Earth proponents,
I trip on gravity several times a day.
what we call gravity is actually just, quote, density and buoyancy. Things fall because they're heavier than air, which sounds convincing until you realize that doesn't explain orbital mechanics, tides, planetary formation, or why literally every large celestial body that we observe is spherical.
Yeah.
NASA is allegedly the villain here. The claim is that space agencies
Their
fake
fault.
satellite images, fake the moon landing, fake the ISS, fake airline flight paths in the southern hemisphere, and somehow coordinate this deception across hostile governments who can't agree on trade policy, but apparently are willing to collaborate perfectly on global lies.
Yeah.
Some versions go
It's the
further.
only thing we're not at war about.
Some versions go further and add a dome or a firmament over the flat Earth, often based on literal interpretations of ancient cosmology texts. Now, here's what's fascinating. Flat Earth isn't just an idea, it's what physicists call a gateway conspiracy. Once someone accepts that the shape of the Earth, something known demonstrably true since ancient Greece, is a lie, it becomes dramatically easier to believe every other cover-up. Moon landing, fake. Climate science, fake. Vaccines, probably fake. Birds, don't even get them started on birds. And the psychology is key. Flat earthers heavily emphasize do your own research, which usually means YouTube playlists,
Yeah.
not astrophysics textbooks. There's a deep distrust of institutions and experts. It feels empowering to reject the system and believe that you've uncovered a hidden truth. And here's the part that blows my mind. Flat Earth communities sometimes conduct real experiments. They've brought expensive gyroscopes to measure Earth's rotation. The results showed rotation consistent with a spherical Earth. Their conclusion? The gyroscope must be wrong. There was even an experiment using a laser across a long stretch of water to detect the curvature. The result? It detected curvature. Conclusion? The atmosphere bent the laser. At a certain point,
It's NASA's fault still.
at a certain point, the conspiracy becomes self-sealing. Any evidence that disproves it becomes proof of how deep the cover-up goes. Meanwhile, we have thousands of years of cumulative evidence. Ships disappear hull first over the horizon. During lunar eclipses, Earth casts a round shadow on the moon. Different stars are visible in different hemispheres. Circumnavigation works. GPS literally would not function on a flat model. Every other planet that we observe is round. If the Earth were flat, physics itself would have to be redesigned from scratch. And somehow, only people who figured this out are on Reddit and TikTok. I avoided this one on purpose because it hurts my brain, and not because it's dangerous in the immediate sense, but because it represents something bigger. It's the final boss of, I watched 3 videos and now I know more than 2,000 years of science. Also, imagine the logistics. NASA, Russia, China, India, private aerospace companies, airline pilots, ship captains, snipers, astronomers, GPS engineers, weather services, cartographers, all secretly cooperating. You're telling me the one thing that world governments can flawlessly coordinate is globe maintenance?
Yes.
We can't even coordinate pothole repair. And the Antarctic ice wall thing absolutely kills me. Do you know how many scientists and tourists go to Antarctica every year? Apparently, all of them are just politely not mentioning the 360-degree frozen Game of Thrones barrier.
Exactly.
And at some point, it stops being about geometry and it starts being about identity. Because if the Earth is round, then the YouTube prophet was wrong. And that's harder to accept than rethinking physics. So, if the Earth is flat, what exactly is on the other side of the ice wall? Bonus level? DLC content.
Jimmy Hoffa.
Like this one, like I said, I intentionally avoided it like the plague.
I thought you were also avoiding it so you wouldn't offend anyone who you were gonna. You don't want to hurt feelings intentionally.
Have we met?
No.
I thought this whole show was me hurting
I know.
feelings.
We're brand new.
I mean, okay, so the fake moon landing, honestly, I've seen some convincing stuff. It might not have happened, honestly. I've seen some pretty convincing shit. Yeah, yes, absolutely. And
You
like,
really think that might not have happened?
yeah, I think there's potential for it. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I could be convinced. Yeah, I've seen some convincing shit.
All right then. Moving on.
Like one of the most convincing things that I've seen is this idea that we were able to do this in, I think it was 69, and yet we've never been able to do it again. And we got Elon Musk burning through like billions of dollars in 2026 trying to figure out
how to live on Mars,
space shuttle technology and shit like that. Well, not just that, but like space shuttle technology. I mean, you know how many freaking whatever his company is called, something X, SpaceX. You know how many SpaceX rockets crash into the ocean every freaking year?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if we've really been doing this shit since the 60s, we think we'd have it mastered.
It's because they hit that wall, that ice wall.
Well, I mean, that definitely plays into it. And then,
you know what else? Your favorite answer? Solar flares.
And solar flares, yeah. And then, like, the whole climate change thing, don't even get me started on that, because I don't buy that shit at all. Like, I believe that climate changes. I just am not arrogant enough to believe that we're the ones that are doing it. And the whole vaccine thing, you ain't getting near me with a needle anytime in the near future. Yeah. I don't trust that shit after COVID at all, but flat earth, man. That one is a real leap for me. It is a real big leap for me. Like, if you do long-range shooting, we're talking long-range shooting.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking, like, shooting. We're not talking about flying an airplane across the world. We're talking long-range shooting. So we're not talking, like, miles and miles and miles and miles. But the curvature of the earth comes into effect when you're. Yeah. That's why I mentioned snipers, because it's a thing even over, relatively short distances. I mean, like I said, like pilots, they go up and they fly across the shorter part of the sphere so they can get there fast. Like, I do not understand that. And there, I was watching this YouTube video, this dipshit flat earther that went to Antarctica and was like, oh shit.
Where's the wall?
He looked like a complete moron because he proved him and he videoed it and it was like.
And posted it.
Yeah. Like, I mean, this one's a tough one.
I would have hidden that shit, erased it, burned it, something.
Yeah. So at what point does do your own research require at least one textbook?
I don't even think that's a question.
I'm pretty sure you could prove anything true on YouTube or on TikTok or something. I mean, you could prove like these giant snake things in the Amazon and you name it. You can prove it on TikTok.
Exactly. Yes.
So if every government is coordinating in a global lie, who forgot to tell Google Maps?
Same people who told Google Maps the incorrect spelling of my address. I've been trying to get that fixed for years.
Yeah, good luck with that. All right, we ready for the red rabbit hole?
Yes.
Japan's SOS sign incident. 2 hikers go missing in Japan. A rescue helicopter spots a massive SOS made out of logs on a mountainside. Perfect. Mystery solved. Except the missing hikers are found alive miles away, and they swear that they didn't build it. What rescuers discover at the sign turns a miracle rescue into one of the most quietly horrifying hiking mysteries on the internet. Late 1980s. Don't ask me to pronounce this. Daisuzan, Daisetsuzan,
I love how you say, don't ask me to pronounce this, and yet you go ahead and try to pronounce it.
I'm going to try everything.
Okay.
Don't ask me to pronounce it correctly.
Okay.
So, Dissect National Park, Hokkaido, Hokkaido, with a little line over the top of it. Okay. Remote wilderness, volcanic terrain, dense dwarf bamboo called sase that can swallow a person waist deep and make forward movement almost impossible. 2 hikers go missing near Mount Asahidaki. Police deploy a helicopter to search the mountains. From the air, they spot something impossible to miss, a giant SOS spelled out in white birch logs on a steep slope. Big, clean, intentional, exactly the kind of signal that you pray to see during a rescue. Ground teams mobilize, but plot twist number 1, the 2 missing hikers are found alive several miles away. They insist that they never built any SOS sign, so who did? Authorities return to the log formation for a secondary search. That's when the story shifts from rescue operation to quiet nightmare. Near the sign, scattered human bones are discovered, initially reported as belonging to a woman, a skull, fragments, animal scattered remains, and then tucked beneath the tree roots in a hollow, they find a stash, a backpack, clothing, amulets, cameras, a tripod, a cassette recorder, and 4 tapes. And a driver's license belonging to 25-year-old office worker and hiker Kenji Iwamura, who had gone missing in 1984, 4 years earlier. One of the cassette tapes contains an overwritten recording of a man repeatedly calling SOS. He says he's stuck on a cliff, says he can't move because of deep sasa, says he needs to be lifted out. He sounds weak. The tape quality is degraded. His parents later listen but can't be certain that the voice is his. Meanwhile, early forensic report says the skeleton is female. So now the internet has everything that it needs. A giant SOS sign no one claims, a missing man's ID, a skeleton reported as a woman, a degraded distress tape, and no confirmed builder of the sign. Later re-examination corrects the sex estimate to male. Authorities conclude the remains likely belong to one person, presumably Kenji. But that correction came after the mystery woman with his ID story had already spread. So here's the physical problem. The SOS sign was made from around 19 birch logs, each roughly 15 feet long. Cut, arranged, hauled into place on a steep mountainside. No axe was ever found. Archived aerial photos later confirmed the sign had been visible since at least 1987, meaning it sat there for years before the 1989 helicopter spotted it during the unrelated rescue. Which leads to the core question: who built it? The grounded explanation is simple and brutal. Kenji got lost, likely injured. Fractures suggest trauma while he was still alive. He sheltered near the tree root hollow. He recorded an SOS tape, possibly leaving it looping in case someone passed by. And over days, maybe longer, he dragged logs into position, slowly constructing a massive distress signal. Because when you're dying alone in the wilderness, you will attempt the impossible. Eventually, he succumbed to exposure, injury, starvation, or some combination of the above. Weather, animals, and time scattered the remains. Early forensic error misidentified the sex. The tape degraded. The sign went unnoticed. The rabbit hole version? There was a second victim. Someone else used his gear. The voice isn't his. Multiple people built the sign. The government quietly, quote, fixed the forensic years later to close the case. Reddit loves the second version, but the first version might be worse because it means the SOS was real and it worked, just not in time. My take? This one messes with me. Not because I think there's a secret second hiker or a state-wide cover-up, but because of how close it all was. He carved out a hollow under roots. He recorded a tape. He built a textbook distress signal big enough to be seen from the sky, and it sat there for years, invisible in plain sight. Also, let's talk about this sasa bamboo. If you've ever tried walking through dense brush, imagine that, but on a mountainside, injured, dehydrated, alone. The internet wants it to be a mystery woman or a spy plot, but sometimes the scariest answer is just one guy doing everything right and then still losing.
Yeah.
So do you think one injured person could realistically drag and arrange 19, 15-foot logs alone over several days?
I mean, there's something to be said for adrenaline, but no.
I mean, that's the one that kind of stumps me too. It's like, of course, I don't know. Maybe I got to look at it. It's hard for me because I grew up in the woods, right? So, I grew up knowing like, it's either the stay in one place, somebody will find you, or just head down a river and you're going to come to something.
Yeah.
Like find a body of water and follow it. It will lead you somewhere. And normally it will lead you to people. But then the other part of me is like, okay, so a couple stories here I got to tell you that are relevant. So the town that we live in, you know this, but our listeners may not. There's this mountain called Cedar Mountain, and it's kind of right on the edge of town. And there was this guy that got lost on Cedar Mountain. Now, you cannot walk off Cedar Mountain any direction without walking into people. I don't even know that you can find a place on Cedar Mountain where you can't see houses. So, but he got lost up there. They had to send out search and rescue in the whole 9 yards. So it's like, some people can get lost anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the other part of me that's like, I grew up in Wyoming. I think that's pretty clear. And Wyoming is one of those places where we're in the Rocky Mountains. You can always find a landmark and you can be like, okay, as you're walking in, this rock formation is on your left. That means if you can see that rock formation and you want to make your way back out, keep it on your right and you're going to find your way out, right?
Mm-hmm.
My arrogance, I was like, I could never freaking get lost. These freaking people that get lost are nothing but a bunch of freaking idiots. Give me a freaking break. Then I moved to Ohio. And I walked out in the woods in Ohio, and I'm like,
everything looks the same.
I'm going to pick that tree. Oh, shit. No, that one looks like that tree. It's like every tree looks like the other tree. And it's like all these Ohio people are like, how the hell can you get lost out here? Are you dumb? And I'm like, how can you find your way out here? Are you dumb?
It reminds me of that video. This is an aspen tree. It looks like an aspen tree because it is.
I don't know that video, but
I'll have to share it with you.
My point is I've never been to Japan. And so I can't even say, because I don't know what it's like there. I thought I could find my way through anything, anywhere. And then I went out into the eastern woods and I was like, holy shit, this is a whole nother ballgame.
Yeah.
People from the east come out here and they're like, we get them up in the mountains and they're like, how the hell can you figure out where in the hell you're at?
Yeah.
But you get out there and you're like, how the hell do you figure? I mean, it's just what you're used to and you learn the tricks of how to navigate in a certain environment. And I've never been to Japan, so I am not saying anything about this guy. It's just weird. That's it.
Yeah.
So no, go ahead.
I have family back east that won't come this way because of the mountains, and they're afraid they're going to fall off of it.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, how have we not fallen off this whole time?
Oh, yeah. I've had family members come up from Kansas and stuff, and they're freaking terrified. They won't go up into Yellowstone and stuff because it terrifies them.
Yep.
All right. So why do early forensic errors stick harder in the public imagination than later corrections?
Because it was there long enough, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just like, if officials make a mistake, you better not make a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
If it's the official position.
Yeah.
I don't know the first freaking thing about looking at his skeleton and telling it. I know that Bones is really good at it.
I love that show.
For forensic anthropologists and stuff, it doesn't seem that difficult.
Mm-hmm.
But yet I've heard of other mistakes being made on massive archaeological digs and stuff, and they're like, we thought this was a woman for all these years, but actually it's a man. And so apparently some skeletons, it's not as clear as other skeletons, I guess is the best way to say it.
Structure is supposed to be a big indicator because of childbearing.
Right. Yeah. I think a woman's pelvis and stuff, but it also said that the bones were scattered. So if they didn't find the pelvis,
true.
It could be easy to misidentify pieces rather than a full skeleton. So I think it's simply that. But is it more disturbing if this was a multi-person mystery or a single person dying slowly within sight of the rescue routes?
Define disturbing, because
either way is disturbing. I would say one is disturbing and one is just tragically sad.
There you go. Yeah. I like that.
All right, so you ready for Dipshit Diaries Special Edition?
Special? What makes it special?
Now you're going to find out.
Oh, man.
Dipshit Diaries.
Dipshit Diaries Special Historical Edition.
Oh, no.
Dipshit Diary number 1. The safecracker who blew himself up. Thomas Terrible O'Brien, Pennsylvania, 1902. In 1902, a Pennsylvania safecracker attempted to blow open a small town safe using nitroglycerin, a common but extremely volatile tactic at the time. He misjudged the amount. He detonated the building and himself. At the turn of the 20th century, Safecracking was not subtle. It was chemistry plus bad decision-making. Nitroglycerin was the go-to tool for yeggmen, the term that was used for traveling safe burglars. The method was simple in theory. Pour a small amount of nitro into the safe seams, seal it with putty or soap to direct the blast inward, detonate, and collect the cash. No problem. Nitroglycerin does not tolerate overconfidence. In 1902, Thomas O'Brien, sometimes referred to in period reporting as a known safe burglar operating in Pennsylvania, attempted to break into a small town establishment after hours. He prepared his charge, likely rushed, likely eyeballed the measurement instead of actually calculating it. Witnesses later described an explosion that shattered windows blocks away. When authorities arrived, the safe was open, but so was the building, and so was O'Brien. He did not survive. Newspapers of the era treated this incident with a mixture of moral lesson and dry humor. Early 1900s crime reporting had very little sympathy for burglars who accidentally self-detonated by a poor explosives management. And this was not rare. Turn-of-the-century archives are littered with similar stories. Safe blown open, burglar injured. Train car destroyed, loot incinerated. Dynamite placed incorrectly, criminal becomes cautionary tale. Before modern surveillance, before forensic databases, before digital footprints, criminals were still defeated by one constant: physics. My take? Imagine deciding, you know what? I will outsmart the law of chemistry tonight. Nitroglycerin was so freaking unstable. Have you seen Vertical Limit?
That sounds familiar.
Vertical Limit, where they're climbing K2?
No,
that's the second highest peak.
Yeah.
Right after. You haven't seen that?
Wait a minute. Maybe I have. I don't know.
Yeah, it has that dude from that show in it, you know?
Oh, that show.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got the Dean Martin, them freaking guys singing the Dean Martin song. Yeah. On the set of the
If I have, it was only once.
Anyway, nitroglycerin is a part of the story. So anyway, nitroglycerin was so unstable that Alfred Nobel invented dynamite specifically to make it less homicidal to the person that was holding it. And this man said, nah, I got it. Also, safecracking back then required carrying a glass bottle of explosive sweat. I mean, this shit is so unstable. Like, if the sunlight hits it, it can explode. Like,
ooh.
I mean, it is unbelievably unstable. So carrying a glass bottle of explosive sweat, traveling by train, working in the dark, and hoping that you poured just enough, but not too much. That's not crime. That's that's a high-stakes baking show with no measurements. The safe survived. He did not. History's most reliable detective remains basic math. So, if your crime plan involves liquid explosives and guesswork, are you already disqualified from mastermind status?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yes.
I mean, that shit scares me to death.
Wow.
I wouldn't come anywhere near it. It is so unbelievably unstable. This is a common tale, man. People blew themselves up with that shit all the time back then. So how many historical criminals were defeated purely by misunderstanding science?
More than one.
Probably a lot. Yeah. Is blowing yourself up during a robbery the original own goal?
Yes.
All right, you ready for number 2?
I guess.
The burglar who stopped for cheese, England, 1908. In 1908, a burglar broke into a house in London and
Cheese is important.
decided to pause mid-crime to sit down and eat cheese from the kitchen. He left fingerprints in the cheese, which led directly to his arrest. Early 20th century England was in the middle of a forensic revolution. Fingerprinting had just been adopted by Scottish Yard in the early 1900s, and police were eager to prove its effectiveness. Enter one extremely snack-driven burglar. In 1908, a man broke into a London residence. He rummaged through the drawers, pocketed valuables, and then, in what may be history's most preventable mistake, he helped himself to food from the kitchen, specifically cheese. He sliced it, handled it, left clear fingerprints impressed into the soft surface. Investigators arrived and noticed the disturbed food. They collected the cheese as evidence. Latent prints were lifted and compared against police records. What do you know? Match found. The burglar was arrested and convicted, and the case became one of the early public demonstrations that fingerprinting wasn't just theoretical science. It actually worked. And because a man couldn't complete a burglary without building a charcuterie plate. My take? You risk prison, you defeat the locks, you sneak through the house, and your downfall is snack time? Also, imagine being the detective explaining this in court. Yes, Your Honor, Exhibit A is cheddar. The arrogance of criminals has never changed, but neither has their hunger. The lesson? If you're committing a felony, pack a Lunchable.
Guilt by Gruyere, framed by fromage.
You're really good at that.
Yeah.
All right, so is hunger the most underestimated criminal vulnerability?
I guess.
I think it's Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
If 1908 England would have had a Taco Bell, we'd be telling a very different story.
Yes, that's where it would have happened. Or a Waffle House.
Right, yep. If he'd chosen crackers instead of cheese, would history be different?
Be a little crummier.
I find it fascinating that, I mean, I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall when the detectives came in and they were like, we're going to try it. Oh my God, we've been waiting for this moment. It's clear to the naked eye. We don't even have to use that dust stuff that they were telling us about. We actually get to do this shit. They were so freaking excited.
Yes.
So what's worse, being caught by a fingerprint or by dairy?
Dairy. I would say lactose intolerant people would agree with me.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah.
All right, you ready for number 3?
Sure thing.
The man who mailed himself to escape prison. Virginia, 1911.
I feel like we did this one.
No.
Anyway, go ahead.
In 1911, a Virginia inmate attempted, we have not done any dumb dipshits from 1911. I can guarantee you that. In 1911, a Virginia inmate attempted to escape jail by mailing himself out in a wooden crate. It worked. Briefly. Then he suffocated.
Till he found cheese.
Then he suffocated, panicked, and gave himself away. Escapes in the early 1900s were bold, sometimes clever, often poorly ventilated. In 1911, a Virginia prisoner arranged to have himself packed into a wooden crate and shipped via rail freight. The idea was simple. Human cargo disguised as goods. transported beyond prison jurisdiction. Crates were common shipping methods at the time, furniture, tools, livestock. Why not one more box? He was sealed inside and loaded for transport. And for a while, it worked until the heat, lack of airflow, and the duration of travel became very real. Accounts from the era described him panicking, making noise, and ultimately revealing himself during transit. He was discovered before the plan could succeed, back to prison. Now, technically, mailing oneself to freedom had been done successfully before. Henry Box Brown famously shipped himself to freedom from slavery in 1849. But Brown prepared meticulously. This inmate? Not so much. History proves you can mail yourself to liberation, but it also proves you should probably consider oxygen?
Yeah. Even Garfield considered that with normal.
I don't get it. I don't speak Garfield. I don't even know that second thing you said. Normal. What was that?
Normal's the little cat he kept trying to mail to Abu Dhabi.
Normal.
Oh, people are going to be mad at you, John.
I don't speak Garfield. I'm so sorry.
Garfield is the thing when we were little. Yeah, he kept trying to mail Normal.
Calvin was the thing when I was little.
Calvin and Hobbes. But yeah anyway.
Anyway, my take. Imagine your entire escape plan hinging on, I hope this box has enough air. You're betting your freedom on crate craftsmanship. And I cannot stress this enough. Trains in 1911 were not climate controlled. Also, the logistics meeting for this, how long is the shipment? No idea. Ventilation? Optimistic. It's the confidence that kills me. Pre-1950 criminals had no Wi-Fi, no Google, no YouTube tutorials, just vibes and plywood. So why would you risk suffocation for a shot at freedom?
I wouldn't.
I don't know. I don't know the guy's story. I do know prison conditions in 1911. So, I mean, if he was in there for life, I don't know. You might try about anything. I mean, Andy Dufresne climbed through miles of smelling foulness that whatever Morgan Freeman had to say, it was pretty poetic. I'm not nearly that poetic, but
did he arrive postage due?
Probably. Can't imagine the prisoners had a whole lot to buy postage.
Yeah.
So what's the worst historical escape plan that you've ever heard of?
This one.
This one's pretty bad.
This one's pretty bad.
Yeah, it is pretty bad. So at what point inside the crate do you realize this was a mistake?
2 seconds after I shut it.
I'm asking the wrong person that question.
Yes. So you most certainly are.
I mean, that is one of those things where I don't give a shit how self-controlled you are. When you start losing oxygen, like you're waking the world. Like everybody's going to know. I don't care.
Yeah.
There is no, I'm stronger than this. Like when you can't breathe, you're coming out the box or you're going to die trying.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you ready for our weird shit section?
Yes.
Weird shit.
Weird shit number 1. Loys Ape, the cryptid that was just a dead monkey in Bad Science. In early 1900s, a Swiss geologist claimed that he and his crew encountered a giant, tailless, bipedal ape in the South American jungle. They shot it, posed it, photographed it, and then lost the body. Years later, a racist anthropologist declared it a brand new species, Amaranthropoides loysi. You know I can't pronounce shit, so modern zoologists, they say it was
trying to think of what it would have been anyway.
Modern zoologists, they say it was a spider monkey, a very dead spider monkey. Around 1917 to 1920, Swiss geologist Francois de Loys was leading an oil expedition near the Colombia-Venezuela border. According to his later story, 2 strange human-sized apes emerged from the jungle and approached his camp aggressively. They screamed, they shook vegetation, they hurled feces. which, to be fair, is not outside the behavioral range of monkeys. Loys claimed his crew shot the female while the male escaped. They propped the body upright on a wooden crate, wedged a stick under its chin to hold its head up, and took a single photograph. One photo. Then, conveniently, the remains were lost during travel accidents. Years later, Loys showed the image to George Montedon, a Swiss-French anthropologist who was heavily invested in racial pseudoscience and polygenism, the theory that different human races evolved separately from different ancestral apes. Montedon saw opportunity. In 1929, he published the photo as evidence of a brand new world ape species, naming it Meranthropoids loysi. I'm not even going to spell it, it's too long. He claimed it was over 1.5 meters tall, tailless, semi-upright, and a possible missing link. French journalists ran with it. British and American scientists immediately raised eyebrows because the animal looked exactly like a spider monkey, specifically Ateles belzebuth, a species that's common in that region. Don't ask me. I don't know. And I'm not going to spell it. It's too long. I keep telling you this. The proportions matched. The proportions matched. The hands matched. The facial structure matched. The body hair matched. The tailless argument? Well, the tail appears to be hidden behind the crate in the photo. The giant size claim? Montedon assumed the crate was large and fully visible. Later analysis suggested it was partially buried or smaller than he claimed, shrinking the monster to perfectly normal spider monkey size. And here's the part that gets darker. Montedon wasn't just excited about a jungle oddity, he wanted a new world ape that could support his theory that different human populations had separate evolutionary origins, a racist framework used to justify colonial hierarchies and eugenics. In other words, a possibly staged photo of a dead monkey became ammunition for bad science and real-world consequences. Later accounts from colleagues suggested the photo may have originally been a prank involving Loys' pet spider monkey posed after death. Whether it began as a joke or a tall tale, Montedon laundered it into evidence. Today, within cryptozoology, the Loys ape sometimes gets lumped in with South American monogrande legends, giant jungle primates, but mainstream zoologists consider it a classic case of misidentification, a hoax, amplified by ego and ideology. One photo, no specimen, no follow-up, a whole lot of embarrassment. My take? This might be my favorite genre of cryptid. Guy kills monkey, guy hides tail, friend invents species. And then he publishes it. Also, the confidence. You have one photo, no body, no measurements, no repeat sightings, and you say, yeah, this rewrites, what is that word? This rewrites primatology. That's not science. That's fan fiction with a Latin name. And let's be clear, this wasn't a harmless campfire story. It was wrapped up in early 20th century eugenics, which means ape discovery wasn't just bad zoology, it was politically motivated nonsense. The real monster here is not the monkey. It's the willingness to turn a blurry jungle photo into a racial hierarchy of propaganda. Also, if your cryptid requires you to hide the tail, it might not be a cryptid. It might be a monkey. So, at what point does a scientific discovery become ego in a lab coat?
It might just be a monkey.
It might just be a monkey.
I can't.
I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of this shit, though, historically. It was like a really big deal for these people to like go off on these adventures and find stuff.
Yeah.
There's history's full of this made up shit.
Mm-hmm.
So why do single photo cryptids persist even when anatomy experts dismantle them?
Because of people like me that love it.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm the problem.
Pretty much all cryptids can fall into that category for the most part. I mean, I don't know about Pinky. Pinky might be real. Is the Loys Ape more embarrassing for cryptozoology or for early anthropology?
Anthropology.
Yeah, probably so.
There really isn't a embarrassment level on cryptozoology.
No, I don't think so either. All right, you ready for weird shit number 2?
Yeah.
The Phantom Bear of the Tower of London.
Ooh.
In 1816, a guard at the Tower of London reportedly encountered the ghost of a massive bear emerging from the jewel room. He tried to stab it with his bayonet. The weapon passed straight through. He collapsed in terror. According to later accounts, he died shortly afterward, supposedly from fright. Yes, the Tower of London doesn't just have headless queens, it has ghost bears. By 1816, the Tower of London had already accumulated centuries of executions, imprisonments, royal drama, and enough trauma to power an entire Victorian ghost industry. But this one's a little bit different. One winter night in January of 1816, Yeoman Warder, essentially one of the ceremonial guards, was on duty near the Martin Tower, close to the jewel room where the crown jewels were kept. He reportedly saw the figure of a large bear emerge from the doorway. Not shuffle, not lurk, advance. The guard did what any early 19th century man with a bayonet would do. He lunged. According to the story, the blade passed straight through the bear-shaped figure and embedded itself into the wooden door behind it. Apparition vanished. The guard collapsed. He was carried to the guard room in shock. Later retellings say that he never recovered and died hours later or maybe days later. The cause? Essentially described as fright. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The tower wasn't just a prison. For centuries, it housed the royal menagerie. Lions, leopards, monkeys, and multiple bears kept as exotic status symbols. Animals were sometimes baited for sport. Conditions were, by modern standards, very grim. One of the most famous residents was Old Martin, a North American black bear gifted to King George III by the Hudson Bay Company in the early 1800s. Later storytellers connected the phantom to Old Martin, suggesting the bear's restless spirit lingered near the Martin Tower in the jewel room. By the mid-1800s, the tale was retold in William Gregory's On Animal Magnetism, where it became more dramatic. Cloud-like forms, ominous manifestations, and the guard dying 2 days later. From there, Victorian spiritualists grabbed it. Ghost compilers embellished it. By the 20th century, it was condensed into the clean version. Ghost bear appears, guard stabs, blade goes through, guard dies. Simple, cinematic, sticky. Skeptics point out the obvious. The story appears in print decades later. No clear medical documentation confirms the death by fright. The tower was already ghost famous. Victorians love theatrical hauntings, but paranormal writers lean the other direction. The tower is soaked in history, in centuries of violence, human and animal. Maybe it's Old Martin. Maybe it's residual energy. Maybe it's something older taking a bear-like form. Or maybe it's just a very cold guard in very low light near a place already primed for the imagination. Either way, the tower doesn't just have Anne Boleyn wandering around. It apparently has wildlife. My take? First of all, imagine being a hardened tower guard in 1816. You've probably seen executions, political prisoners, chaos, and what takes you out? A ghost bear. Also, the fact that the bayonet stuck into the door is such a dramatic detail that my Victorian embellishment alarm goes off immediately. It reads like someone in 1851 said, "Oh, needs more flourish." But here's what makes this one interesting. The tower actually did have bears. It's not a random phantom. It's historically plausible enough to feel uncomfortable. And I love that this is tucked inside one of the most haunted buildings in England. Anne Boleyn, the beheaded queen, The Prince in the Tower, tragic mystery, Ghost Fair, spectral zoo exhibit. The monarchy really said, we hunt in layers. So, is the phantom bear creepier because real bears actually live there?
I think so.
I think
What bear has unfinished business that it has to be a ghost?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a believer in animal hauntings. I'm not at all.
But regular hauntings?
People hauntings, I've seen shit that, would turn you green. So, yeah, I can be convinced to something like that. But I struggle with the animal one.
I can't understand what unfinished business an animal would possibly have that it would need to be still here.
It would be a very long theological conversation for me to explain the reasons that I don't believe in animal hauntings. We don't have time for it, but kind of along those same lines.
Okay.
Yeah. Can someone genuinely die from shock alone, or was this Victorian storytelling?
I think people have died.
Well, here's the thing, and I threw it in there because that's what people call it. As an EMT, I have a really big problem with this whole shock thing because shock is actually a medical condition and it has nothing to do with being scared. But I think that people can die of a heart attack.
Yeah,
they get scared shitless.
Yeah.
I mean, it's happened multiple times, not just scared, but like they learn a family member died, they drop down dead. Like that's really, I think, what we're talking about when we say died of fear, died of shock. It's died of a heart attack.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it can definitely happen.
Yeah.
So if you're hunting the Tower of London, why choose bear form instead of headless aristocrat?
Right? Well, there's so many of those.
This is true, yeah. It's the uniqueness factor.
They needed the originality.
Unless it's really Martin, in which case, what the hell else is he going to be?
It's true. That's very true.
You ready for weird shit number 3?
Yeah, you good over there?
Yeah, I was just remembering how to say this big-ass word. Why do I do this to myself? I write this shit.
I don't know.
I write this shit for me to say. But, I mean, these stories got to be told, man. That's my responsibility. What am I going to do?
It is your responsibility.
Encephalitis. That one's easy. I knew that one. Encephalitis lethargica. The living statues epidemic. Heard of this one?
No.
Neither did I. It's freaking weird as shit. Between roughly 1916 and late 1920s, a mysterious neurological epidemic swept across the globe. It put people to sleep. Then it froze some of them in place for decades, fully conscious, unable to move.
New fear unlocked. Thank you very much.
Doctors later described some survivors as, quote, living statues. And we still don't know exactly what caused it. Around the time of World War I, physicians began reporting a strange illness, encephalitis lethargica, literally sleepy brain inflammation. It started like an infection, high fever, headache, extreme fatigue, but then something shifted. Patients became profoundly lethargic, some slipping into near comatose states for days or weeks. Others developed bizarre movement disorders, tremors, personality changes, hallucinations, or eye movement or abnormalities. Some died in the acute phase, but many survived, and that's where the real oddity begins. Years after the initial illness, sometimes a decade later, a subset of survivors developed what's called post-encephalitic Parkinsonism. Rigid muscles, mask-like facial expressions. I saw pictures of this shit. It's creepy. Slowed movement, difficulty initiating speech.
I must.
And in severe cases, near complete immobility. Some patients appeared almost frozen, upright, awake, eyes tracking movement, but unable to speak or voluntarily move. Imagine being fully aware and trapped. Hospitals in Europe and the United States house patients who remained in those states for years. Freaking creepy, isn't it?
Wow.
Yeah. In some cases, decades. They weren't comatose. They weren't unconscious. They were neurologically locked in slow motion. Doctors described them as statues. Visitors sometimes assumed that they weren't aware at all, but many were. Then, in the late 1960s, neurologist Oliver Sacks began treating some of these long-term patients with L-Dopa, a dopamine precursor used for Parkinson's disease. The results were astonishing. Patients who had been motionless for decades suddenly moved, spoke, laughed, expressed personality. It was like time resumed, but it wasn't stable. Some patients developed extreme side effects. Others fluctuated wildly between frozen and hyperactive states. The awakenings were often temporary, complicated, and heartbreaking. Sacks later wrote about this in his book, Awakenings. Ring a bell?
Mm-hmm.
Which became the 1990 film starring Robin Williams and Robert De Niro. But here's the part
that's why they came up in this. Okay, never mind.
Right? But here's the part that still unsettles researchers. We never definitively pinned down what caused the original epidemic. It overlapped with the 1918 influenza pandemic, and some theories suggest a viral trigger. Others propose autoimmune infections or unknown pathogens. There was no single smoking gun. It appeared, it devastated, it faded, and left behind people who lived suspended between movement and stillness for decades. It's not a cryptid, it's not a ghost, just neurology doing something that we still don't fully understand.
Yeah.
My take? This one messes with me in a different way than ghost stories do, because there is no supernatural cushion. No, well, maybe it's folklore. This was wards full of human beings who were awake inside bodies that wouldn't cooperate. And
Can you imagine?
No, I can imagine. Yes, that's the horrifying part. And the idea that L-Dopa could temporarily flip the switch, like restarting a stalled engine, is both miraculous and horrifying. Imagine losing 30 years of your life in slow motion and then suddenly snapping back into the present. Your family way older, the world completely different, and then slowly slipping again.
Yeah.
We love paranormal frozen in time stories, but this is real and honestly stranger and way freaking scarier.
Fun fact.
Shoot.
Robin Williams broke Robert De Niro's nose while they filmed that movie.
I think I remember hearing that.
Yeah. I was looking through these pictures and I couldn't figure out why it kept showing me Robin Williams and Robert De Niro, and then you said that and I was like,
Great freaking movie. Really good freaking movie, man. That was a great movie. So is it more disturbing when something feels paranormal but is entirely medical?
I think so.
This one terrifies the shit out of me, man. I'm telling you what.
Well, I don't like it all.
I mean, can you I mean, yes, the answer is yes. That's why it's scary, because you can't imagine it, but dang, man, this one's rough.
Yeah, I don't like. That's even worse than spontaneous combustion, I think.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it affected people all over the world. It was like a freaking epidemic.
Well, and it takes forever. You'd hope spontaneous combustion is quicker.
Yeah. Like you're just stuck like this, but yet everything inside your brain's working fine. You know what's going on.
Oh, it's that Metallica video where the guy's screaming at him, "I'm here, I'm alive." Is it happening to you now?
You're thinking of one, by the way.
Yes, I am.
No, it's my neck, smartass. So, what?
Like John talked about it too much. He's spoken into existence.
What does it say about the brain that a chemical like dopamine can unlock decades of immobility?
I don't. We don't understand the brain
at all. That's the crazy thing about this story is we still don't have a clue.
Yeah, we do not.
I mean, if this shit came back, and probably more like when this shit comes back, we're going to be as freaking clueless as they were back then. We're going to be like, I don't know, we've been studying this shit for 100 years and we still don't know.
Continuous dopamine drip, please.
Yeah, but that's the scary thing is once it like boosted them, nothing would, they just kind of slipped back or they went nutso or it wasn't like it wasn't like if they weren't getting enough, it just stopped working. It like worked and then didn't work.
Yeah.
I don't know. If the cause was infectious, why did the epidemic vanish the way that it did?
Well, a lot of them go dormant and they just don't come back out.
Like what?
Like, well, I don't know. I knew you were going to test me.
I mean, I know that there are like pathogens that used to exist that don't anymore, that have mutated and become different things and stuff, but I've never heard of one single outbreak that went like global
and just
and
never
then
happened.
never happened again. It never there wasn't a mutated version of it. It's like the whole COVID thing, whether you believe it, don't believe it, or partially believe it, it's all irrelevant. If you believe this, even if you don't believe it, we're going to talk about the science of it. You have like the COVID, really bad COVID, everybody in the world died, whole big thing.
Mhm.
And then it mutated and now people get it and it's like the flu or something. It's like not killing everybody in the world.
Yeah.
I get it. It's a politically hot button
Some
topic.
strains make you feel like you want to die, though.
Right, but is what I'm saying is we like shut the world down. I mean, it was a bad pick. But
Yeah.
it's fresh in my mind and
It's fresh in everybody's.
it makes a lot of sense. So, you got something like that and then it like mutates and stuff, but it's still here. Now, whether it's here in 150 years or not, I don't know, but there's still there, you can follow a path.
Right.
This one's just like carrying on like in a year or, whatever.
Yeah.
The people stayed sick, but it's not like every year people all over the world.
Recontract. Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird as shit. I don't know.
It's very weird. I don't like it.
Ready for another word one?
Am I going to like it?
I don't know. Guess we're going to find out. The Hinterkaifeck murders. In 1922, 6 people were brutally murdered on an isolated Bavarian farm called Hinterkaifeck, including 2 children and a maid who had arrived that very day.
I don't like it.
4 were lured into a barn and killed one by one. 2 were murdered inside the house, and then someone stayed on the farm for days, feeding the animals, milking the cows, sleeping under the same roof as the bodies,
Oh, I really don't like it.
and we still don't know who did it. Hinterkaifeck was a small remote farmstead in Grobern, about 70 kilometers north of Munich. It was isolated even by 1922 standards. The Gruber family lived there. Andreas Gruber, 63, his wife Kazalia, 72, their widowed daughter Victoria Gabriel, 35, Victoria's children Kazazila and Joseph, and their new maid Maria Bromgarter, 44, who arrived March 31st, 1922. Coming up on the anniversary of this one. The same night, everyone was killed. 4 victims, Andreas, his wife, Victoria, and little Kazalia, appeared to have been lured into the barn one at a time. There, they were bludgeoned with a mattock, which is a heavy farm tool, which is part hoe and part pickaxe. Their bodies were stacked and partially covered with straw and a door. Inside the house, Maria was killed in her bed. 2-year-old Joseph was murdered in his cot. Both were also struck with the mattock, or whatever the hell the thing is, the hoe thing. 7-year-old...
I had a crude joke.
Go for it. This is Shadow Chats. All rules are off here.
I was that loose pickaxe. Hoe pickaxe.
7-year-old Kazalia likely survived for hours after the attack.
No.
The autopsy noted that she had torn out clumps of her own hair, suggesting prolonged agony or shock after or before she died. That alone would make the case infamous, but it gets worse. Neighbors became suspicious only on April 4th when the family missed church and school. Mail piled up, no one had been seen. A search party found the bodies, and evidence suggested the killer hadn't left. Animals had been fed, cows had been milked, the dogs had been tended, smoke had been seen coming from the chimney. Money and valuables were left untouched. Whoever did this did not rush. They lingered. Now, rewind to the weeks before the murders. A previous maid had quit, claiming that the farm was haunted due to strange noises coming from the attic. Andreas had found footprints in the snow leading from the forest to the farm. None leading back. A key went missing. An unfamiliar newspaper appeared inside the home. They talked about it. They did not report it. Then the new maid arrived, and that night, everyone died. The most discussed suspect is neighbor Lorenz Schlittenbauer. He had been romantically involved with Victoria. He may have been the father of little Joseph. He had a tense relationship with Andreas. When the bodies were discovered, Lorenz reportedly entered the house alone, disturbing the scene before police properly secured it. Suspicious? Absolutely. Proven? No. Other suspects floated over the years. A disgruntled former farmhand, local brothers linked to thefts, wandering ex-soldiers. Even rumors of incest between Andreas and Victoria complicated the motives. Investigations continued for decades, and then World War II happened. Physical evidence was lost or destroyed forever. Even key skulls were gone. Modern re-examinations in the 2000s could not definitively close it. Officially, it's unsolved. My take? This case is nightmare fuel before you even add theories. Footprints that don't lead back, attic noises, a missing key, a newspaper from nowhere. That is straight up someone's already in your house kind of horror. And the part that sticks with me, the killer stayed. It's not a robbery. It's not panic. That's comfort. Also, imagine milking cows while 6 bodies lie inside the barn. You are either deeply familiar with that property or completely detached from humanity. And the fact that we probably know who it was, but lost the evidence, is somehow worse than a total mystery because it feels solvable, but yet it isn't. So, is the killer who stayed detail the most disturbing part of the case?
I think so. I also think it's probably the earliest story of frogging.
What's frogging?
It's when people live in your attic.
Oh, yeah. We had that in the Daniel Plant case. You told me that then. I'm never going to remember that because it doesn't make any logical sense. I don't know why it's called that.
I don't either, but it's like, I think it's pH frogging.
Okay. So, I mean, I think the little girl pulling her hair out is the worst part of the story, man. That's
my heart.
That's the most disturbing detail of this case, but weird as shit, right?
So weird. I don't like it. I was right.
Like, I think it's got to be a personal motive.
Yeah.
It's not robbery, but if it's like the neighbor, why are you going to stay there and tend the animals and shit? Go home.
I think it was somebody that was already living there and just got sick of hiding.
Or got discovered.
Yeah.
Got discovered in the house, killed one of them, and then, made noises in the barn or something to get the others to go out there or some shit. I don't know, but I agree with you. I think it's somebody living in the house.
Yeah.
Do the attic noises and footprints suggest stalking or retroactive storytelling?
Stalking.
I think so,
I'm
too.
gonna go with stalking.
I think so, too. Or frogging.
Frogging,
Yeah.
yes. The very early frogging.
If modern forensics had been available in 1922, would Hinterkaifeck be solved or still circumstantial? Or is it still circumstantial?
It might be both. How did they lose the stuff again?
World War II?
Yeah, so I don't think it'd be solved.
Maybe if there was DNA, maybe. But short of that, I don't know. Unless, now we'd have cell phone evidence, shit like that we could be tracking.
Cameras,
right?
yeah.
But, short of like DNA, I don't know. There's a shit ton of unsolved crimes now.
Block of cheese that you're not leaving your fingerprints in? Come on.
I find it very fascinating. I know I've brought this up before and I'll bring it up over and over again that we have our homicide solve rates are going down. They were actually higher in the 1950s than they are right now. So I don't know that modern forensics necessarily means that we're solving crimes faster. We ready for weird shit number 5?
Yeah.
Oh,
What the heck was that?
that was me preparing to say a big ass freaking word. That's what that was. All right. Back off, Jack. Okay, so we have Kalupalik. Huh? How was that?
I can't see the word, so I'm going to believe you.
The word is Qalupalik. And I had to pull the pronunciation guide. It's Kalupalik.
Okay.
Kalupalik, because I was not getting anywhere close to that. I can tell you that shit right off the bat.
Please tell me what it means.
Okay, well, first I had to explain something. So last week we covered Huggin' Molly in Alabama.
Yeah.
And without realizing it, we may have opened a door, because if we're doing urban legends, I thought, why not do one per state? So tonight,
Oh, yeah.
we're heading up north, very north. Alaska gives us Kalupalik, a figure from Inuit oral tradition. Not a mermaid, not a siren, but something that waits under the ice humming for children who wander too close to the water. In Inuit storytelling, the Kalupalik is a sea-dwelling being that inhabits the icy coastal waters of the Arctic. Descriptions vary across the regions, but certain details repeat: greenish or scaly skin, long tangled hair, thin clawed fingers, a half-human, half-fish body, sometimes fins or spines visible beneath the clothing. It's not beautiful. It's certainly not seductive. It is not singing sea shanties. The Kalupalik lurks near shorelines, ice edges, and open leads in the frozen sea, especially where children might wander. And here's where it gets culturally specific and deeply unsettling. The creature is often described wearing or carrying a pouch similar to I didn't pull that one up. A-M-A-U-T-I-Q.
A-M-A-U-T-I-Q?
Yes. A-M-A-U-T-I-Q, yes.
It's the plural of amati, which is amautic.
Amotic?
Yeah.
Okay.
A-M-O-W-T-I-C-K is how they have it spelled to pronounce. Amautic.
Amotic. Okay, perfect. So the creature is often described wearing or carrying a pouch similar to, thank you, Angela, a montic, right?
You know what that is, amautic?
Well, I'm about to tell you what it is.
Okay.
It's a traditional Inuit parka with a built-in baby pouch used to carry infants safely against their mother's back. So, yeah, it's like the little backboards that the Plains Indians used to use, except it's built into a coat, which is pretty damn nifty, pretty freaking clever too. We pay like hundreds of dollars at like REI for shit like that these days, but they just came up with it back then for nothing.
Yep.
Except in this.
Probably not for nothing, but you know.
Well, they had to kill a whale or something for it, but other than that, it was nothing. So, except in this story, the pouch is not for protection, it's for abduction. When a child ventures too close to the thin ice or open water, the Kalupalik hums a low, almost soothing sound. Some versions say only children can hear it clearly. Drawn toward the sound, the child steps closer. The Kalupalik emerges, grabs them, stuffs them into the pouch, and slips back beneath the water. Once taken, they do not return. Sensory details make it worse. The smell of sulfur or sea rot, skin slick and cold, long nails scraping the ice, the hum that sounds almost like a lullaby. This is not a random monster. It's a warning with teeth. In Arctic environments, thin ice and cold water are not survivable mistakes. A single misstep can mean death within minutes. So parents gave the ocean a face and claws and a baby carrier. At one level, it's practical. Stay away from dangerous water. Listen to your elders. Do not wonder.
Yes.
At another level, it reflects something far deeper. The sea is a powerful living force that demands respect. Not evil, not demonic, just unforgiving and personified. My take. First of all, Western culture gave us mermaids and seashell bras. Inuit culture gave us an Arctic sea witch in a parka with a child-stealing backpack. And honestly, that feels more honest. The ocean in Alaska is not whimsical. It will kill you quietly and efficiently. I also find it fascinating that Caillou Pollock doesn't chase. It hums. That's worse because it turns danger into something inviting. And I kind of love that accidental arc that we just started. Alabama gives you this screaming, hugging woman. Alaska gives you something under the ice humming your name. If it becomes a 50-state urban legend tour, we may have created a problem.
I like it. Let's do it.
So, is it more effective to teach safety through story rather than rules?
I think story.
I think in a situation like the Inuits, they had no choice. I mean, they had no choice.
Yeah.
Like, you're living out there. What the hell are you going to do? We don't have like the baby leashes and shit like we got now. Like, you've got to put the fear of God into these kids or they're going to die.
Yeah.
So it makes perfect sense.
It does.
And it's,
yeah.
It's
Stories
a great,
are better.
It's a great freaking story. I gotta tell you, man. Okay, so why do so many water legends involve humming or singing? It's like the sirens and they invite you.
Yeah. Well, water carries sound very well, doesn't it?
Well, I think like out on the ocean, sound travels very well. There's nothing to interrupt it. So there's tons of those kind of stories, like from pirates and shit, and people sailing the ocean. And you just got to imagine, like, it doesn't apply to this story, but you talk about like Christopher Columbus and explorers and shit like that, like people, the Vikings out on the ocean, and
all the noises they heard.
Well, not just noises, but the shit that they saw, like can you imagine you're coming from, I don't know, India or Spain or some shit like that, and you encounter these sea creatures or whatever that you don't have on your continent? There ain't no freaking Google. You ain't ever seen no shit like this. Like, what does a seal look like to somebody that's never seen a seal? Or what does a buffalo, an American bison, look like to somebody that, it's fascinating to think about, honestly, I think Darwin was an idiot, but for him to go to the Galapagos Islands and to see all that shit, it'd be like,
mind-blowing.
It would be mind-blowing. Yeah. If he'd have went anywhere else, we'd have had a totally different book written, but he just happened to pick the freaking Galapagos, where it's like the weirdest shit you could possibly imagine all in one place. But so if every state, and they do, has a cautionary monster, or I wouldn't have started this, what does that say about human processing danger?
I love it. We do what we have to do.
Yeah, I think that some of these grow as cautionary tales, and I think that, well, it's fun because as we work through this, we'll have these conversations like, is this a cautionary tale? Or
so the next 48 Shadow Chats is going to have this.
Yeah. Yep. And I gotta say, I don't know why. It's dumb as shit, but I like the movie.
Are you doing them in alphabetical order?
Apparently I am.
Okay, then.
Yep.
So Wyoming is last.
Yeah, unless we get a state called Zuluopoly or something.
We will by then, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. The flat earthers, they'll do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, all right, what, you got anything to add?
I don't.
So, that's all that I put together for Shadow Chat sessions this week. We've covered airborne bachelor party weaponry, a flat planet.
Forgot about that.
A flat planet that somehow requires global HR coordination.
I remembered flat Earth, but I forgot the bachelor party one.
A German farm nightmare I still don't feel great about. A ghost bear with royal trauma. Frozen neurological time travelers. and an Arctic sea witch with a baby snatching parka. It's a completely normal episode.
Oh, yeah.
So if you enjoyed this descent
Tuesday.
right? If you enjoyed this descent into intellectual instability, do the responsible thing. Hit follow, hit subscribe, click whatever button your podcast platform uses to legally tether you to us. Leave a 5-star review. Leave a 5-star review because apparently that's how we appease the algorithm gods. If you leave less than 5 stars, at least make it creative so that we can read it dramatically on the air and question your life choices. Share the show with your friends, specifically the one who says do your own research, the one who thinks they could survive in the wilderness, the one who still believes the earth might be spiritually flat. Follow us on social media so that you can watch us spiral in real time.
Yep.
And if you want bonus content, behind the scenes nonsense, or just more of whatever this is, check the links in the show notes. It's all there. I promise. I wrote them. Probably, maybe. We'll see. And if you miss an episode, don't worry. We're apparently doing all 50 states now, so you're going to want to keep up with Delaware. It gets weird. As always, stay out of barns in Bavaria. Don't stab ghost wildlife. Don't build explosives without a measuring cup. And maybe, just maybe, don't follow humming voices in icy water. We'll see you next week. Stay weird.
Stay safe.